In 1971, off the coast of Bangladesh, while in search of two Bangladeshi fishing boats, the SCP Foundation stumbled across a creature known only today as the eel. This is the story of SCP-3000. And we are going to get into it, but if you could, please subscribe, because if you enjoy content like this, we do a lot of that here, and subscribing would be very cool. Within the lore of the SCP universe, there were two entities responsible for the creation of everything inside of it. The two forces are is and is not, which is a pretty simple concept. Essentially, is everything that exists, and it is creation as a whole. However, is not is the exact opposite, and is everything non-existent. The two entities combined to create the universe that the SCP stories are set inside of. And later on, I may do a full video on the creation of the SCP universe. I know I'm going to be doing a lot of SCP-related videos. This is the first, because I thought this one was the coolest, to be honest. At least of the ones I've found so far. But definitely subscribe so you don't miss those. But essentially, the remains of the two forces, of is and is not, manifested themselves in the forms of two brothers, the serpent and the eel. Now, the serpent is widely regarded to be a force of evil in the universe, and I'm going to leave it at that because the actual breakdown of what the serpent is and all the lore behind it, it would take way too long. So I'm probably going to do just a completely separate video on that just on its own. So stick around for that. Now, the other brother, as mentioned earlier, took the form of an eel, but not just a regular-sized eel, one that was supposedly hundreds of miles long. Now, as someone who is pretty freaked out by the idea of gigantic creatures underwater, I can still admit that the eel that is miles long is a pretty cool concept, and I actually used a picture of the eel for my video on thalassophobia. But anyways, the first contact that the SCP Foundation actually had with this creature was after the initial discovery. They sent 3 divers to attempt to make contact with the creature. The story goes that the divers were sent down to find out more. However, when they got far enough down, strange things began to happen. In the story, the 3 men began to experience several forms of psychological manipulation as well as physical pain before soon being killed by the creature. And of course, shortly after this, the SCP Foundation sealed off the area where the eel resides. Another story goes that a man by the name of Dr. Venkat had an encounter with the eel while working for the Foundation, and it is widely believed that the eel permanently detrimentally affected his mind. And while recounting his experience with the eel, he stated that he believed it was actually a Hindu god. He was quoted as saying, "I believe that SCP-3000 is Anastasia. I believe that this aberration, this treachery against cognition, is the result of us being in the presence of a god." However, Dr. Anand Maneva had a different theory. He was quoted as saying, "I do not think that the eel is the Hindu god. I don't think it would matter if it was. What is clear to me now, as I feel myself coming apart, is not that the eel is some mythological creature or divine serpent. Perhaps it's just a primitive creature that has eluded us, holding no malice. Perhaps it really is a primordial deity, harboring resent beneath the surface. The eel is not a harbinger of my demise or humanity's doom. The eel is not the end of all things. It only shows us what the end looks like." And of course, you can draw your own conclusions, but for now, let's move on to the scale of the creature. The eel itself is believed to have been between 600 and 900 kilometers long, or about 370 to 590 miles. The head is between 6 feet and 12 feet wide, and certain parts of the body are believed to have been at least 20 to 30 feet in diameter. So, needless to say, this creature is thousands of times larger than anything that currently exists on Earth. This becomes even more terrifying when you think about the cognitive effects that happen by simply being in the presence of the creature. So now, all that being said, what do I think about SCP-3000 or the eel? Well, for starters, it was my introduction to the SCP universe, which is at least part of the reason why it's my first video on the SCP universe. It's extremely terrifying but cool at the same time. It's a great concept. It's a great idea. And the fact that there are hundreds of stories and animations from people all over the internet make it just that much better. I mean, of course, I'm going to be doing videos on other SCP creatures, and I'm sure I'll find one that I like just as much. But for now, this one is absolutely my favorite. So anyways, that is going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. New video should be out Tuesday, barring anything unforeseen, but I got a good one planned, so I'm very excited. Sorry this was a bit of a shorter video, because I am working on bigger and better things, hopefully longer form content for the future. But for now, this is it, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Bye.